Good evening, everybody. You're watching the Just Keep Up podcast, where we're one step ahead. I'm Kurt Johnson. This is Pete Zindros. We're excited to be back to you guys here on this Thursday. We have a great show planned for you tonight. We are very excited to be back with you here tonight on this Thursday. We have a lot to talk about, lots to get into. Big show. Our featured story tonight, we're going to be talking all about Trump's address to Congress. We're going to be talking about all of his talking points. We're going to give our take on if we think it was based or not, what we think of the speech in general. I have to say, though, Trump's speeches are getting boring now, bro. This isn't the rhetoric in 2016. It's just not. And it's a lot lower energy. It's a lot of reiterating the same things. It's a lot more, you've never seen anything like it. We're going to do something that's never been seen before. It's like, dude, give me a break, bro. It's like the same mild talking points, but then the rhetoric is different in terms on in 2016 it was a lot more illegals and borders and things of this nature. Most of it was on spending, and most of it was on the government spending, which is just like we didn't, at least I didn't vote, but if I did vote, I wouldn't be voting for Trump to lower government spending. I get it. It's a big deal, I guess, but there's bigger fish to fry than that. But he seemed to spend the majority of the speech talking about just that. He went over some important things, but it's tough to come by, man. And then a lot of this speech stuff he said already that wasn't about government spending. Like he mentioned, the transgender stuff, we got that. He mentioned, the border crisis. At least he did something with that. That's fine, but still no wall being built or anything. So, it's just like, I don't know. I'm not going to spoil my take on it. I didn't think it was all bad, but it just seems to be going down a bad path. But we're going to talk about it. On the lighter note, we're also going to talk about President of Ukraine, Vladimir Zelensky, and Trump's meeting at the White House. It was, I think, last Tuesday it was. So, we're a bit late on that, but we're going to give our takes on that. Trump completely owned Zelensky, and Fat Boy JD Vance was involved as well. So we're going to give our take on all that. So it is going to be a great show. Before we get into it, I'm gonna remind you to smash the follow button here on Rumble to get a push notification every time we post. If you're watching us on YouTube, guys, I appreciate it. Like and subscribe. Help us to impact and to reach as many people as possible. And guys, follow me on YouTube and Rumble, guys, at Kurt's Philosophy if you are interested in the world's deepest, darkest secrets. I dropped the documentary part 1 of world history documentary. So right now we're going through world history starting from God, Adam, Eve, stemming all the way to 2025. And, I'm going to be breaking down how we got to where we are now. So if you guys are interested in that, interested in the world's darkest secrets, go follow me on YouTube and Rumble at Kurt's Philosophy. Bro, do you have anything before we start the show?
No.
All right, guys. So we're going to jump right into our news here. It's what happened yesterday. So the transcript of President Donald Trump's speech to a joint session of Congress. So he had a joint session at Congress, half Democrat, half Republican. We saw that the fields were kind of split. We saw that heckling, what is his name? AI Green or whatever his name is, this heckling Democrat, he got dismissed from the speech because he was heckling and doing all this and that before Trump can even get a word out, right? The Democrats had those stupid little signs up, and it wasn't very patriotic at all. And Trump mentioned some good things. He mentioned a lot on spending, was the biggest thing. He mentioned labeling these drug cartels as terrorist organizations. He's brought on examples of, people that have been involved in the killings of these groups, the families, the mothers, the daughters, that their husbands has gotten killed because of these brutalities. And they gave a bunch of examples. of that. They gave another example. I forget his name, but the firefighter that died covering his family. They had his family on there. They gave another 13-year-old kid to be an official police officer, etc. So it was a ton of good things all over the place. But what he really spent his time on was government spending. But I'll read you guys an article here quickly. Okay. I'm gonna pick the good things. Okay. He says, quote, "That's why on my first day in office, I declared a national energy emergency. As you've heard me say many times, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any other nation on earth, and by far, and now I fully authorize the most talented team ever assembled to go and get it. It's called Drill Baby Drill. My administration is also working on a gigantic natural gas pipeline in Alaska, which is just all for government spending. And I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, okay, which is headed by Elon Musk. So he gives great thanks to Elon Musk. And then he gives a list of everything the government has been spending, including $8 million to promote LGBTQ, $40 million to improve social and economic inclusion, $45 million to diversity and equity, $32 million for left wing propaganda in the Middle East, $20 million for a program, Sesame Street, in the Middle East. He's given $1.9 billion recently to Decarbonization of Homes Committee, and so on and so forth. So as you guys can see, most of the speech he spent covering what the government is going to lower their spending on, and it was a lot of crap. I'm not going to lie. But he did mention that the border crisis is solved, and right now it's at an all-time low right now for illegals coming in. Right now, his first month was the best month recorded in president history in terms of illegals coming in. So he is doing a good job there. Although, which I'll save my take on it, but no mention of the mass deportations, no mention of the deportees and how that's going. No mention about free trade. What else? No mention about foreign aid to a certain nation, etc. So it was just funny to see that. But he did mention, all of those government efficiency spendings, which was good. He mentioned that he got shot in the face, but he feels it was to save America. And he mentioned he brought on a couple people that were involved in these gang violent acts, right? And he brought them on as examples. He gave scholarships to this 13-year-old kid. He gave another scholarship to some like 18-year-old kid, right? So all these good things. So that was the general, consensus of the speech. So before I give my take, Bud, what was your take on this address to Congress?
I think the government spending is a W. I mean, it's a great way to keep more money within the country because I'm not going to lie, our country has been spending a lot of money on a lot of BS, which is one of the reasons why the US is currently on pace to go on bankrupt, if you guys did not know that. So I think them lowering the costs and a lot of this BS is a massive W. Hopefully throughout time we could save more money in our pockets with this. And it's always great to, to see people getting rewards and stuff like this. Like Donald Trump, deep down, he loves everyone in America. Okay, he loves everyone, and to see him giving out like awards and stuff to like these 13-year-old kids to become like police officers or scholars or whatever, that's a really nice thing to see, especially from a leader of your country. That shows great example and it shows how much care he has for his people and his community. So, in my opinion, those things are all a W that he mentioned and did.
Okay, yeah. So my take on it was, the heckling Democrat, his name is like AI Green or whatever the case was, completely disruptive, completely unfiltered. He's a member of Congress. Shame on him. So that was really bad. And then the Democrats sat there on their phones the whole time. Like there was a half of the group that just sat on their phones holding up their stupid signs. Some of them were sleeping. Like it just wasn't it wasn't a good look for America, right? And when I think about America, I think about what America is called. We're called, what is America called, bro? The United States of America, right? We're supposed to be united, but most of it is Democrat against Republican. And I know, you're not going to win the Democrats over. You're not going to win the left over. They were clapping when they said that the war was going to continue with Ukraine. These idiots were clapping. Like, I get it. The Democrats, the left, they're out there. They're loofy. I get it. But at the end of the day, right? We're supposed to pull this country together. We're supposed to be the United States of America. We're supposed to be united, right? Even if we disagree on some fundamental issues, we're supposed to agree on the baseline issue in America. And I don't see us doing that right now, right? And so I get that Trump can't single handedly do that, but it's just kind of disappointing to see the Democrats there not even participating at all, right? Or the one participant was being a complete jackass, right? And so you saw that, and then, they show these kind of like right wing guys who are supposed to be right wing. And then it's like Ben Shapiro and Matt Walsh. And it's like these guys are supposed to be the right wing. All these guys are one nation first, right? Matt Walsh is a little bit more base, but he can't leave, his Shapiro's side, right? And so my take on the speech specifically was okay, but it's like it's the same talking points. Like he didn't say anything that we haven't seen before already. I'm gonna bring back America to where we've never seen anything like it. How often have we heard that phrase? Like, bro, it's like, bro, and then like he seems old, he seems tired. He doesn't seem to still have the oomph anymore, that factor, right? He did say some nice things, like, yeah, the Democrats are never going to agree. So, it kind of is what it is. Or, the Democrats could have never did that. Or he said, Joe Biden is the worst president in history. So, you saw some of it, but then some of it is just like, like, it's just so cringe, bro. Like, we, he mentioned the border, and we are having the best numbers, the statistics in terms of illegal aliens coming into the country ever. So this was the best 1 month, statistic for deportee or illegal aliens ever. Okay, so that's a W, right? But there's another side to that, which is the deportations, right? Let's not forget, Joe Biden let in 10 million illegal aliens during his term. Right now, Trump is at around 500 deportations per day. That is at a less pace than Joe Biden was in his term. That is at a less pace than Barack Obama was in his term. If you do 500 per day, that averages about 800,000 for his 4 years. So 800,000 deportations, Biden let in 10 million. It's like, are we really fixing the problem? Right? So I have a problem there. And then no mention of it because remember, they completely changed the rhetoric. The rhetoric when he was running was, we're going to do the mass deportations. We're going to rip people out of homes. We're going to do this. None of that. Now, the border crisis is solved 100%. No one else is coming in, which is good. But what about the people that came in 9 months ago that are still don't have papers and, are involved in drugs and gangs and all this stuff? What about them? Right? So still no answer for them. So I was kind of disappointed to not see that there was no rhetoric around that. He claimed that he stopped foreign aid for every single country, which was a lie, because he did stop foreign aid for most countries, with the exception of 2 countries. We can all guess who they are, right? So there was a lie there. And then it was just extremely disappointing to see that every time the camera was on Trump, it was also on fat boy JD Vance. And it's like, the more you look at this guy, the more you just want to punch him in the face, bro. Like, he just looks so fake. And then he's just sitting there, and he's sitting there, and he's just sitting back like this, and it's like, bro, you done nothing to get into this position. He's done absolutely nothing. If you guys haven't watched my episode, go back and watch my episode where I broke down JD Vance specifically. But he's just so ugly, bro. Like he looks like a fucking he looks like, you ever seen those memes where it's like a big fucking baby, it's a grown man and then it's like in a baby body? That's fucking JD Vance, right? Like he's just so, bro, like every part of my being hates JD Vance, okay? And it's just so fake. Like this guy was a never Trumper. 2016, he hated Trump. He called Trump's America's Hitler. And then he's like sucking Trump off every word he says. It's like, bro, it's just so fake. So that was my take on the speech. Was, if I were grading it 1 through 10, I would say it was a 5. It was average, but nothing was said that was like, okay, that was based. Nothing was said that was like, okay, we're shifting the goalpost now. We're moving the Overton window. None of that. It was the typical topic, talking points, typical, Trump, he does better at rallies than he does in these speeches. And he never was a good speaker. He never was a great speaker, but, it was a little underwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, overall, I would probably give this speech maybe like a 7 overall. I mean, to me, 7 is average. I go off my scalings based on how you get graded, like in school on tests. So you know how a 7 out of 10 is a 70, and that's a C in school. Yeah. So it's just about all right, I would say. So personally, off my scalings, I give it a 7 out of 10 overall. He did mention a lot of good things and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I mean, unfortunately, there were some lies in there, like about foreign aid. Um, he didn't really bring up much about the deportations, even though, he has deported like a good amount of people. Like he's not doing like a terrible job with that, but he hasn't really like given us any updates on that, which, I was kind of upset about. I was willing to hear about that. And yeah, I think that's all I have to say.
Yeah, because, again, I think Trump is a good guy. I think he means well, but again, I say this over and over again, but he ran his course. He's tired. He's an old man. He wants to golf. He doesn't want to, you know, um, he doesn't want to keep fighting. He just wants to, leave it up to his staff and look good in the press and, try his best. But, he's not here for all that. And again, I look at it as, what is America like? What is the change that America needs to be successful? And are we turning in the right direction? Yes, like the transgender stuff is awesome that we're turning a page with that. The left, the radicalists, we're turning a page with that. And we're turning a page with a lot of stuff, but I just think we need to see more. We need to see more, and we haven't been seeing it. But yeah, we'll move on. We'll talk about the Zelensky meeting here. So there was a meeting at the Oval Office between Zelensky, Trump, and JD Vance, the deal was about a mineral deal. And they also said that at the end of the conversation, they'll come to an agreement about Ukraine and Russia. So then the last question gets asked, and then it just completely blows up, where Zelensky is arguing with JD Vance. Then Trump steps in. Then Trump says it was important for the American people to see that. And then they completely kick Zelensky out the White House. And then all the events are called off. There was like a dinner after that, and then there was a speech somewhere else that they were supposed to do, and they completely called it off. And then Trump said, until Ukraine's willing to negotiate peace, there is no deal. So come back when you want peace. And Trump actually said it during the speech last night to Congress, that Zelensky did reach out to him briefly after that, and said, we are willing to negotiate peace. We appreciate it. And, we just want to stop the war. So this war is almost over because Trump did put his foot down when Zelensky was demanding more money. He was demanding more soldiers. He was demanding more weapons. And, Trump just said, you're in no position to negotiate. We're the bosses. You're the subordinates. So shut the fuck up. Right. And that's in a nutshell what he said. Right. And I'll read you guys an article here. It says Zelensky describes the Oval Office meeting as regrettable but says he's ready to negotiate peace. Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky said his Oval Office meeting last week with the president did not go the way that it was supposed to, describing the fiery meeting as regrettable and noting that Ukraine is ready to negotiate about an end to the conflict. Quote, I would like to reiterate Ukraine's commitment to peace, Zelensky said on X, addressing his remarkable sit down with Trump directly. Trump and Vice President JD Vance berated Zelensky during the meeting, angrily accusing him of gambling with the World War III and telling him, your country is in big, big trouble. Quote, our meeting in Washington at the White House on Friday did not go the way it was supposed to, Zelensky wrote on X. Again, it is regrettable that it happened that way. It's time to make things right. We would like a future cooperation and communication to be constructive, concise, and not hostile at all. None of us wants endless war, he added. Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiation table as soon as possible to bring lasting peace closer. Okay, he basically goes on to retract everything that he said, basically at the House. Zelensky also said in his Tuesday statement that Ukraine is ready to sign a minerals deal, which was meant to be signed on Friday until the argument led up to Zelensky being told to leave the White House. Regarding the agreement on the minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it in any time, in any convenient format. We see the agreement as a step towards greater security and solid security guarantees, and I truly hope it will work effectively. So, guys, what the minerals deal was, which a lot of you don't know, but what the minerals deal was Ukraine has minerals and raw earths, etc., that we want to use, right, to replace oil. We want to use all those things, right? And Ukraine has those. Okay. Now, Ukraine was willing to give those to the United States, but 50%. So 50% of their minerals and raw earths, that was the deal with the help of the U.S. Army and troops, but them being on the ground. Okay, now Trump didn't want to commit to that. He said, I don't want to bring U.S. troops on the ground for 50% of the raw earths. So therefore, we don't have a deal. So they were trying to negotiate. And what Ukraine wanted and what Zelensky wanted was troops on the ground. They wanted 100% guarantee and backing of the United States. And Trump was not budging on that. So they were kind of going back and forth. And then it got into a shouting match between Zelensky and JD Vance. Zelensky questioned JD Vance's intelligence to the matter. He said, well, what do you know? You never even been to Ukraine. Well, what do you know? Right? Questioning him and all these things. So then Trump, came in and Trump said, well, you need us. You're not in a position to negotiate, etc. And it went back and forth with, like I said, with Zelensky being thrown completely out of the White House. And now he's completely taking back everything he said. He wants to negotiate peace. He doesn't want to do war anymore. And like I said in these quotes here, he wants to negotiate with whatever America says. So what is your take on this big story about how Zelensky came to the White House, was arguing with JD Vance and Trump, and then, inevitably got kicked out of the White House?
Zelensky is an example of what a leader should not be. This guy literally deserves to lose his job right now. Bro, I got several points to make about this guy in this conversation. This guy, first of all, he came into our country after our country helped his ass even stay in this war for the last 3 years. Because without our help, they would have been done probably within like 2 weeks, and Russia would have been conquered the land that they want from them. But anyhow, he's a greedy bastard. And here are the points I'm going to make about this guy, okay? He refuses to refund America's $350 billion that Joe Biden gave them, okay? Okay,
Well,
so you could take the money. Wait, what?
no. Go
What
ahead.
were you saying?
No, go ahead. I just wanted to inform the people that when the United States gives these countries money, it's not like a loan where they want it back. It's more so of a thing where it's like, okay, you're gonna help us out in other areas. Not so I just want to I know you know that, but just for the people, it's not like a loan thing where now they have to
No, I
give
know.
the $1 billion back. It's more so like, okay, now you're gonna help us out in other areas with those raw earths, etc. Just want to let the people know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know it's not a loan, but anyhow, he refuses to, help us out in return after we gave him $350 billion. Okay, so you could collect money for your own benefit, but you can't give back once everything is settled and we saved your asses. Okay, terrible human being. He doesn't want to agree to a ceasefire. Now, I know Putin has broken some of his ceasefires in the past, right? Because they've realistically been going at it since 2014. He doesn't want to agree to a ceasefire because he doesn't think Putin will agree to it. But Donald Trump was telling him that Putin was breaking those ceasefires under Joe Biden and Barack Obama, who he does not respect. However, Putin does respect Trump. Trump is probably one of the only people on earth that can actually stand up to Putin. So I have Trump's word there. So Zelensky not taking a ceasefire there, another L. JD Vance brought up a good point as well to Zelensky. He told them, why the hell are your people smuggling random men off the street and beating them if they refuse to come with you? Guys, so basically what Zelensky is having his people doing is if they see a random guy on the street, they'll go up to them and tell them, hey, listen, come fight for us. If you refuse, they beat you down and take you anyways. Okay. So this is what Zelensky is doing to his own freaking people. Another L for Zelensky right there. And why does Zelensky want this war to realistically continue? Because of all the profits that got funded to Ukraine, he is pocketing a lot of this money. Okay. He's not only pocketing it, but the fact that the war is also continuing, he is staying in power because once this war ends, they're probably going to have elections. And we all know Zelensky probably won't win again. I mean, he just led his country into an all out war. So he's not getting back in there. So he wants the war to continue specifically for profiting funds and so he can stay in power. So this guy is having his own country at war with people getting killed for his own personal benefit. Another L right there. And now the last point I want to make, which is probably the least irrelevant point, but I'm still going to bring it up anyways, just to show you the type of character Zelensky is. This guy pulled up to the White House for a meeting with America's president about stopping a war. And he pulled up in a fucking tracksuit? Like, what the hell did this guy have on? He had like a freaking I don't even know, bro. Like some dumbass shirt, sweatpants, and some guy in the crowd even called him out on it. He was like, "Do you not own a suit?" Zelensky was like, "Oh, why do you care?" And the guy was just like, "Well, I'm just asking a question. Do you not own a suit? Like you're coming out on camera as a president in the White House and you're not wearing a suit." That right there, this shows you the type of character this guy is. He does not give a fuck. And that's also how he feels about this war. He doesn't give a fuck about people dying. He wants it to continue for his own personal gain. So Trump and JD Vance humiliating this guy on national television was a massive freaking W, bro. And the craziest part is, bro, I'm on social media reading articles and stuff about it. And in the comments, most people are saying, "Oh my God, like I'm so humiliated for America. I can't believe this is our president. Like this is such humiliation for us." Dumbass, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Get out the way. Let Donald Trump handle this because he's doing the right thing. If you're not on the side of America in this situation, go fight for Ukraine then. Go fight with their army.
Okay. I mean, I disagree. I think a couple things that I want to correct you there. The first thing is, it's not for to stay in power because he's going to stay in power regardless. These guys don't hold elections. They're going to stay in power as long as he would like. So that's the first thing. I do think you're correct in terms of he does want, he does want to keep racking up the money and he wants to continue to fight and continue to compete. But that's all world leaders. If you're a president, it doesn't matter. If you have 5 men or 5,000 men or 5 million men, you think that you can win, and you're going to try to motivate your guys to win, even if you have lesser talent or even if you have less whatever. You don't want to say we quit, we're done, we're tired, we whatever. You want to keep fighting because that's your mindset as a leader. Another thing I want to back up was Zelensky, where Trump even did tell him. He said, "Oh, like, is this your only wardrobe?" Or he said something like that. Like, yeah, is this the only thing this guy can wear? He did mention that to Zelensky's face, so it was clear from the start that there was some ulterior motives there. Like, Zelensky doesn't wear a suit out. He's famously known for not wearing a suit, so this wasn't a thing where it was like disrespecting Trump or whatever the case may be. This guy never wears a suit. He just doesn't, right? For better or for worse, he doesn't. Right? We all remember where he met up with Biden with the same gear on. He wore the same exact shirt with Biden. So this wasn't a thing where he was kind of disrespecting Trump or whatever. This guy just doesn't wear suits, which you could take that at face value and say, well, there you go. But, I just want to clear that up. Now, what do I think about this speech? I think, or about this meeting at the White House, is I think it was a complete, I think it was a TV show. That's what I think it was. I think they went into it saying we're going to humiliate Zelensky. They went into it saying we're going to humiliate Zelensky. If you guys remember, and maybe this is exactly what they wanted. But just a couple weeks prior, we were complaining because Trump said he was going to ethnically cleanse the Gaza Strip and take it over and give it to a foreign nation. Did we not forget that? Right? So the American people were on his ass about that. So what does he do? He sets up this meeting with Zelensky, and the game plan is we're going to shit on him and make him look like trash because they can. And he's like freaking 5'2", and we're just going to shit on him and make him look bad, right? You could tell they kept jawing at him like little by little. They said, "You don't have the men, you don't have to say." They were making fun of his outfit. You could tell really early that they were kind of like throwing him under the bus. Okay, and no world leader wants to put up with that, no matter how much you've given them or how much whatever. He's still a world leader, or he's still a country leader. Okay, so to treat him in that way is completely unacceptable. With an addition to that, what you're also saying is other countries, it's just a bad look for business. Okay, it's a bad look for business where you think these smaller countries are going to want to do business with you after you treated Zelensky in this way on national television. Like, it's one thing to be behind closed doors and say it. It's another thing to humiliate him in front of the public and also in front of his own people as well. So this is just bad business all the way around. But I think it was a deliberate thing to do it on purpose. I think they went into it saying that this is going to be the outcome to make the American people forget about what they just did last week, which was cut all foreign aid except for one country. They said they were going to ethnically cleanse the Gaza Strip for a certain country, right? And these things pissed a lot of people off. The deportation numbers pissed a lot of people off. We're not gonna report that anymore. Instead, we'll put on this act to make the American people happy, right? And so you guys can't look at things at face value. You have to say, what is the ulterior motive here? What are they trying to get from this? And the entire time, they were shitting on Zelensky. They were trying to get under Zelensky's skin and make him react the way that he did. If you're getting clowned on and shamed the whole time, you're eventually going to stand for yourself and say, bro, like, what do you know about Ukraine, blah, blah, blah. And then that led up to Trump saying, well, no deal, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, so you're telling me because Zelensky came in asking for more money, that warrants you saying, well, we know we funded you over $500 billion, but now's the cutoff line? Really? The cutoff line wasn't $500 billion, but the cutoff line was him showing up to the White House in a tracksuit. That was the cutoff line. Like, bro, that obviously wasn't the cutoff line. This was a strategic plan by the Trump administration to shame Zelensky from the jump and make him react the way that he did. Now, I will say I'm not complaining about it. It was epic. I'm not complaining about it. It should have happened. I agree. But what I am saying is it wasn't something where it happened out of the blue. It was TV. Okay. It was national television. And you saw what Trump likes to do best, likes to put on the show for the people. And that's what you saw.
Well, you have to remember though, the fundings were under Joe Biden. Like that wasn't Donald Trump's decision to fund them. So that was, a different administration. But honestly though, I don't really think it was planned out. Like Zelensky literally just went in there acting like he had all the leverage in the world when in reality he had no leverage. He was trying to go in there and demand for things when he was the one that needed help. We're not the ones that need Ukraine's help right now. They need us. And he went in there acting like he had the leverage and they needed us. Like it's the complete opposite. And I think that just kind of pissed Trump off and he just humiliated him. I don't think it was personally like a scheme for television.
Okay, I mean that's your opinion, but I mean for me it's obvious. I mean, soon as Zelensky got out the car, Trump goes, is that this guy's only outfit? This guy can't even wear a suit. This guy, like, like kind of like babying him and belittling him before he even got inside the White House. And then to kick him out of the White House, and then on top of that, to cancel all of the dinners after that, right? Like they completely humiliated this guy. It's never been done in country history, and we've given way more money to other countries that haven't needed us, right? So it's very obviously that this was scripted, and now you have to ask yourself, why was it scripted? Well, it was scripted obviously because they want to turn your attention away from everything that they promised that they were going to do and that they haven't done.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of more on the opposite end right now. I mean, I'm still standing on my point. I think Zelensky just went in there thinking he had leverage, and yeah, I mean, Trump just shit on him from there. But that's your opinion if you think they schemed it out. My personal opinion is, it just happened to be so on the spot. Like it pissed Trump off, and they just went off on him.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is other countries, world leaders, not saying any names that are smaller than America, they can come in the White House and get treated like God. But then Zelensky does the same thing and it's an issue. It's like, come on, bro. Like it was obviously it's deliberate, bro. Like it wasn't anything that Zelensky did personally. For me, it was scripted coming out of it. But yeah, guys, so that's the show. We went over Trump's address to Congress. We went over how that was a shit show. And then we went over the Zelensky and Trump meeting at the Oval Office. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Before we get out of here, I'm going to remind you to smash the follow button here on Rumble to get a push notification every time we post. If you're watching on YouTube, guys, I appreciate it. Like and subscribe. Help us to impact and to reach as many people as possible. And again, guys, follow me on YouTube and Rumble, guys, at Kurt's Philosophy if you are interested in the world's deepest, darkest secrets. And then we'll talk to you guys again. We'll probably do a sports show for you guys tomorrow, more than likely. We have a lot to cover for sports. There's been a lot going on. So we'll talk about it. We'll probably bring it for tomorrow for you guys. If not, it'll be Monday. But we'll talk to you guys again on Friday, tomorrow, or Monday. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching.